Kujira is up massively. It's leading the altcoin rally, and for several reasons, some of them being legit, others being, well, let's say questionable. Have a look at this, the Kuji token being the top performer. And this is then how this looks on a 1 month chart. The Kuji token being at $3.87 right now. The first thing I'm always interested in when seeing such a price rally is whether or not there is price manipulation. Are there derivative contracts? Are there perpetual futures where whales are manipulating the price, moving the price up and down in order to benefit from potential liquidations? This is not the case for the Kuji token. For Kuji, we don't have any perps listed on CoinGecko. So what is it then? Is there simply a lot of attention, a lot of social development happening? Well, Twitter doesn't look too bad. 267k impressions here. A Twitter following that's also growing. But I'm not sure if that's actually enough. We get a bit closer once we look at the GitHub profile, because here we do have quite a lot of activity. Have a look at those update frequencies. 5 hours ago, 10 hours ago, 10 hours ago, yesterday. A lot of those repositories had been updated just recently. So there's very, very active development happening. And we're going to look at those specific applications that are being developed and that are being used. The USP of Kujira is to be the blockchain of real yield. Now what's real yield? Real yield is the opposite of fake yield. Fake yield meaning inflation. So for example, for Cardano, right? You stake your tokens, you lock up your tokens, you get more tokens in the future. But the reason why you get more tokens is because more tokens are being issued. There's more and more circulating supply, potentially depressing the price. So when you've got inflation, you get fake yield. When you've got real yield, this is rather yield that's generated via fees, right? For example, trading fees, borrowing fees, any kind of DeFi fees that people are paying in order to use the services. Kujira is not new. Kujira initially launched on the Terra Luna ecosystem that then subsequently collapsed, right? UST, the stablecoin of Terra Luna, depegged, and it was backed by the Luna token. So over time, more and more value was transferred from the Luna token back to UST in order to repeg it, but there was not enough value in Luna. So UST never repegged. The whole ecosystem, whole Terra Luna, imploded, and with it the Kujira project. So what Kujira did then is they relaunched their own blockchain. A blockchain based on the Cosmos SDK. Even today in the documentation we still see the scars describing the history of Kujira. Now there's a lot of green checks here on this roadmap. And this was the own layer 1 on the Cosmos ecosystem. And we've got quite a few applications here and we're going to talk about them. The fundamental difference that makes this ecosystem different to other blockchains is that it tries to enable its users to act like whales. So a regular user can, for example, bid on liquidations. When you currently borrow on a DeFi platform and you get liquidated, usually it's the professional whales that can liquidate you. Whales are watching the different liquidation levels, check when you get very close to that level, and then outbid themselves on gas in order to get the liquidation fees, which can be 10, 20, 30% depending on what asset you borrowed. Kujira has its own DeFi platform with a user interface to enable everybody to do those liquidations and earn those fees. So democratizing to a degree what's currently simply just available to a very few very advanced players. And so that's application number 1. It's Orca. Here are different liquidation levels on the Atom token, and over here we can bid on that liquidation. As with any DeFi ecosystem, we have liquidity pools, right? Pairs where you earn on the trading fees. With Kujira, the rewards are quite high. So if you're interested in holding the Kuji token over the long term as well as the Atom token, you can get a combined APR of 65.7%. Make sure that you understand everything here though, because if the price of those two assets diverge too much, you get something called impermanent loss. So feel free to check this out, impermanent loss. If you don't know what that is, don't use those liquidity pools. Now there's a way to stake the Kuji token, and it currently gives 5.8%. Now that's not something special necessarily, but for Kujira that's actually different because Kujira is not inflating. 100% of the Kuji tokens are already circulating. So where do those 5.8% come from? Remember the USP, real yield. That return comes from the applications in the ecosystem. So parts of the return goes to stakers and had been 2.6 million in the last 90 days. Kujira is still somewhat of an underdog. Within the Cosmos ecosystem, which is already relatively small, it's the 5th largest blockchain. But here comes a point. It is rallying a lot. And I don't just mean the price, there's actually real support. And yes, a rally like this doesn't get unnoticed, so of course there was shilling on larger channels as well. CryptoBenter just promoted it. But this massive rally in total value locked is actually underpinned by something. Parts of the rally is from the BAO token, so that's the liquidity pools we talked about, where you can get those 66% APR. Much more of that rally though is based on the Ghost token, the Ghost decentralized application on Kujira. And Ghost is the reason why everybody bridges their funds over to the ecosystem. You can get a lot of yield on Ghost by doing interest rate arbitrage with their stablecoin. You're not exposed to impermanent loss, you simply just see the money rolling in. This is the Ghost protocol, and this is the APRs we get for lending different assets. USK has an APR of 45% per annum. And you can mint USK against your deposits. This is a chart of the USK stablecoin. And you can see how heavily this trade is being promoted. Deposit Kuji, borrow USK. Deposit wrap Bitcoin, borrow USK. Lots of potential opportunities for interest rate arbitrage. Now, the art is always to buy low and sell high. And obviously right now in Kujira, we are not low. That being said, the question is always, what are potential new catalysts here? Given that it's already been promoted on very large crypto channels, what could actually trigger the next rally? And I think it's simply listings. Have a look at the markets for Kujira. They're centralized trading on MEXC, but that's about it. The rest is in a decentralized manner, either directly on the Kujira blockchain or here on Osmosis. I think it's very possible that we will see this token also on Coinbase and on Binance and on OKX, etc., on other centralized exchanges, given the current momentum. Let us know why you're currently invested in Kujira. Feel free also, of course, to subscribe, and a like would be very much appreciated as well, because it will help the channel grow. One more thing, there is a Telegram channel, link is down below.